Yeah, so I'm extremely moody. I try not to make this anybody else's problem. Mainly because I don't want anybody to tell me that I need to, like, talk to a psychiatrist. Because it's like, anytime that you're feeling uncomfortable, there's always this temptation to go into the mindset of, like, something's wrong with me, or something's wrong with this person that's making me feel this way. This is also vanity and vexation of spirit. Shout out to the preacher from Ecclesiastes. No, but seriously, it's ego. It's ego. Like, you thinking that you're not supposed to feel a certain way, or these people are supposed to treat you differently. So clusterB personality types are massively on the rise because of how much neglect is taking place in your average Western home, okay? The reason why people develop these types of personality disorders is because of abuse. And I don't think that everybody has a disorder or whatever. I mean, I think that's really serious. But they act like they do, though, in their behavior. But I have to understand that when your parent smacks a phone in your hand at such a young age, or an iPad or whatever it is, yeah, you don't really have a choice in the matter, you know? We don't choose to have our parents neglect us. I was chosen by my parents that adopted me, but you know, there are plenty of children that don't get chosen, that just bounce through the foster care system and are horrifically abused. And I was very conscious of that reality when I was very young. And so, you know, it's really important to acknowledge the fact that we really don't have choices when it comes to a lot of the things that we're forced to endure, okay? And so our brain adapts to that. Our bodies remember the things that happen to us, and our brain is trying to adjust and readjust and readjust and readjust. And, you know, a lot of the time, you know, these defense mechanisms... Oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to turn you off. I want the battery to run out. Really like that keyboard, though. It's fun. So, in case you missed the last video. This is what we're playing now. It's a $3 keyboard that we got from Goodwill. Just happened to find it in like the toy section, and I was like, that's for me. But anyway, yeah, so even like malignant narcissists and like people that have like very sociopathic traits, keep in mind that the reason why they have those traits is because they were just trying to survive their childhood, okay? And unless they go to rigorous psychotherapy and with a really good therapist, okay? Not just one that benefits from keeping them on that couch, but, you know, somebody that will really get down to the bottom of it. It's like they're probably going to be stuck in that loop for the rest of their life. And I think about this all the time in relation to, you know, the things that I say about myself and like, what am I doing to like, defend some like shitty behavior or whatever. So like I'm a loner. I've always been a loner. And I actually want to be a loner most of the time. It's hard for a lot of people to understand this because I think that most people have that need for a sense of belonging and they want a family of some sort. So even if they don't have a traditional family, you know, the spouse and the children, the golden retriever and all that, it's like they're still seeking that. That's why women are so addicted to collecting dogs, okay? I'm not collecting cats. I'm actually trying to get rid of one of my cats because my other cat is really fucking pissed off about the situation, and she keeps letting me know. And so I found a new home for her. This cat has been passed around. This is the foster cat. She's a good cat though. It's just that she doesn't get along with other cats. So I found somebody that I work with that I trust who really, really wanted a cat. And I said, she's a really great cat, but yeah, just do not get any other pets because she will not like that. She will bully them. She's extremely dominant. She's one of those cats that like demands affection, you know, like she'll go wherever you are and she will like sit in your lap and she will insist that you give her what she wants. So anyway, I'm trying to be proactive about like a lot of the things that I'm realizing are bad in my life. So I just cleaned through a dresser drawer yesterday, or a whole dresser actually, and I'm either like pitching stuff because I don't think that anybody wants my crap. I'm either pitching it or I'm gonna give it away. I'm gonna take it to Goodwill, or I'm going to give it to somebody I go to church with. I have the tendency to compulsively buy things that I think I'm gonna use in a comedy set. That's why I have like this massive amount of crushed cans that I find on the side of the road. Because I just think they're really cool. But I talked about that in a bit a few weeks ago. If you want any of my like hoarded items, you can find me in the parking lot. Something like that. I think that if I ever got anywhere with my stand-up and people like came out to see me, they would want a crushed can. Like it would be like a souvenir. Like you came to see Amy Gross, here's a crushed can of Sprite. Okay. But seriously though, people are sentimental and they like little trinkets. You know, I think a lot of people like little trinkets, not just crazy women. Okay. I know a lot of people that, you know, they keep stuff because it meant something to them and they don't have the heart to throw it away. Because it's like when you throw things away, it's like you're throwing away a piece of yourself. And I get why that's so hard. You know, I'll sob putting these things in the trash bag, and then I'll sob walking them out to the trash. It'll take me like several weeks to finally put them in the trash can, you know. But anyway, yeah, so I did a lot of cleaning yesterday. I went out and got an oil change. I've been putting that off. It was supposed to happen like 3 months ago, so I was like, you better do it. And yesterday was Ladies' Day, which is a very controversial thing now. I live in the South, though, so I don't think that any transgender people would have gotten offended by that. Like, social media has painted the world a certain way. So, like, if you're on your phone a lot, which I'm assuming you are, if you're on your phone a lot, then you're probably going to assume that whatever you see on the phone is happening everywhere, and that's just not fucking true, you know? Back in the day, long time ago, like just 20 years ago, really, people lived in a bubble, and it wasn't technology induced. So, you know, if you lived in some small ass town with one stoplight, it's like you know that the rest of the world was out there, but it's like you didn't have to think about it. You know, now if you have a phone, which I'm assuming is most of you, you have one of these Death Star phones. You have constant access to all these different things. You know, so I mean, that people just aren't ready for that. They're just not ready. It's too much information. Trust me, I know what it's like to have too much information, and I can tell you it's not a fun experience. Because we have to filter out so much. So it's not just negativity we have to worry about, it's grandiosity we have to worry about. It's pride we have to worry about. You know, I can take pride in not being prideful. I used to just be very self-deprecating and, you know, constantly yelling at myself about everything. I mean, I still yell at myself, but I'd like to think I have a little bit more fun doing it. I'm sure you've witnessed that if you are actually a fan of this channel and you're not just here to criticize me. But it's okay if you are, though. We'll fucking take it. What was I talking about? It was so important. Childhood or something. Yeah, so it's like there's so many different ways that people are neglecting their children now, and that's precisely the problem with modernity. That's why I hate modernity so much. And you know, somebody recently that was obviously offended by some things that I said, probably about psychiatry, he told me to just be a nun already. You're not the only one that said that, honey. There are so many people that have told me to be a nun, including my late priest. And I've had many people in my church, they're like, why don't you just go off to the monastery? Why don't you do that? Because that's running away. That's running away, dude. I mean, maybe later on, I don't know. Maybe if shit really goes down, maybe I'll become a fucking nun. I'm pretty sure that nuns don't swear or masturbate or like do drugs. You know, I'm pretty sure they don't do all that. You know, maybe if I get past all that. But yeah, I feel like my calling is to do comedy. And shout out to Jake the Awake. Best thing on YouTube. Check him out if you haven't already. He's way more conspiratorial than me. But he did a video recently talking about this monstrosity of a comedian who runs the killed Tony Hinchcliffe, I think, isn't it? It's like he's doing really bad comedy. He's not the only one. There's some other dude, I think it was Bert Kreischer, who like took a dump on stage. And he's going on all these podcasts without a shirt on, and what's his face, Russell Brand, always not wearing a shirt. I think it's like humiliation. It's like the humiliation ritual. Now, I could be totally wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. That, like, either you work for people or you work for people. Okay? So, even people that aren't, you know, really popular, like, they're still saying the things that are popular. They're still going along with the trends. And, you know, I'm guilty of this too because I work with a bunch of Gen Z. And Gen Z is, you know, real hip and dip on the language, you know, and so they'll say things to me, I'm like, what the fuck did you just say to me? And they'll explain it, and I'm like, that makes no sense. But then I think about, like, stupid shit we said in the 90s, and it's like, I understand that most people are followers because they're feminine. Okay, so the more feminine you are, like, the more you're just going to go along with trends. that don't make sense. And when I say feminine, I'm not talking about the divine feminine. Never that, honey. Never that. I'm always talking about, just wanting to fit in to the extent that you see a shrink. Okay? You think there's something wrong with you because you don't fit in a really stupid ass world that wants you dead. Okay? That's most women. That's most men now. That's most people in every generation ever. It's just the way that people are wired. And then there are those freaks, those weirdos that look at all that and question the fuck out of it and don't understand it, but we try to understand it, right? We try to understand it. So followers, they don't even question the things that they follow. They do it because they think that it'll get them where they want to go. And I empathize with that. But they still annoy the fuck out of me. Okay? I'm allowed to be annoyed. If that's the worst that it gets, I consider myself lucky because, sometimes I'll go in and out of like being pissed off about that shit, and it's just stupid to be pissed off about it. Why am I gonna get mad that people are the way that they are? That's like getting mad at me because I don't want to have sex with you. It's like, I just don't want to fuck. I don't want companionship. I don't want to spend time with other people. That's not because of you. That's because of me. So, there are a lot of people out there that they just kind of crumble if they don't get attention, or, they don't have that social life. We really saw that with COVID. People were just losing their damn minds being locked in the house. Now, wiser people just utilize this time, becoming more and more conspiratorial, right? But seriously though, I feel for people like my parents because they trust the government. It's like I can't help but notice this running theme with pretty much everybody. Let's just blame these people, or let's blame this person for trauma or inconvenience or discomfort. I always try to blame myself because it's me in the situation. And even if that person was abusive, or, they said or did something that wasn't cool, it's like, it's still the way I'm interpreting it that's wrong, Like, if I'm obsessing about it, obsession is bad, okay? This kind of goes without saying, but, like, I understand, though, that it can be utilized. Think of Adrian Monk, okay? Tony Shalhoub's character in the popular television show Monk. Back when I watched TV, I watched that one because I related to him. But yeah, he would use his OCD in a positive way. You can always take something bad and flip it. But you can only do that if you have the Spirit of God. If you don't have the Spirit of God, what will end up happening is anything good in your life, you'll flip that and make that shit negative. I think that's the main reason why I decided to go back to AA meetings, because I need more examples of that. I need more examples of people flipping something terrible and it being the best thing that ever happened to them, I'm meeting with my sponsee today. This other chick asked me to sponsor her. She's like a chronic relapser. And she got my number but never called me. I'm assuming she's on pills again. But I've been offering my services to people that are trying to quit things other than alcohol. Like this friend of mine that I work with, he's quitting vaping. I'm so proud of him. I am so proud of him because he's Gen Z, and I mean, he's been vaping since he was like 14, I think. One of the smartest kids I've ever met. He's the one that changed my brakes. Like, very determined. So, I mean, he already told everybody, he's like, if I'm an asshole, I'm sorry. You're doing the right thing, kiddo. You're doing the right thing. I brought him some celery to celebrate because he told me he loves celery. I'm like, but that's a good, like, you know, hand to mouth. If I ever run out of toothpicks, I'll just get a stalk of celery and pretend. But anyway, I washed all of my shirts yesterday, and I still ended up bringing a shirt that's like stained. This is an example of something that like I should throw away, but it's really hard for me to throw things away, so I just keep it in a closet. And obviously it doesn't have any use to me anymore, but for sentimental reasons, you know, I just keep things. But hey, we're trying. That's all you can do, right? All you can do is try. If you fail, you fail, but at least you try. The biggest mistake is not trying at all. But, you know, I can't just become a different person. But if I tweak the bad things about me and like reshape them, only through God, okay, only through God, but if I do that, then there's hope. There's still hope. It doesn't feel like it, but it doesn't have to feel like it, you know? Feelings aren't facts. Remember that. Feelings are susceptible to change, especially if you're a woman, or a man that acts just like a woman, which is most of you at this point. It's not your fault, though. It's the culture. It really is. Bye-bye. Ooh, they're playing the police. That's exciting.